everybody, how you doing? So I haven't done one of these in a while. I haven't done really a pure technique video, and I want to keep on that. So we've done a few interviews. Those are fun. We got more on the way. Where I'm really new at this, so I'm kind of developing some ideas, right? Where I do, I demonstrate some kind of hip, famous, cool grooves over the years, like I've done Rosanna late in the evening, and we've done some cool little exercises for swing and things like that. And now I'm also demonstrating some technique stuff that we really need. And I'm entitling this is the simplest, hardest thing you've ever tried to do. And what we're talking about now is, okay, so you've heard of the book, and I've been using this book for years, Stick Control, right? I teach out of it, all that kind of stuff. Years and years and years. And if you're any kind of drummer at all, you've been doing stick control over and over for years and years. Today I'm going to call this lesson hand control. Hand control. What do you mean by that, Glenn? Okay. Well, it's hitting your sticks simultaneously. Seems simple, right? But really getting rid of as much sense of flam as you can, right? Keeping it very simultaneous, and the ability to jump in to the simultaneous hit and jump out of the simultaneous hit. This video will also be in two parts. It'll be what I do here on the pad, and then we're going to take it to the drum set. I've added feet. Now, I want to give credit to where credit is due. I saw, and I can't remember the guy's name, I saw somebody doing this, something similar to this. They didn't do it on the pad, they just did it on the kit, and they did kind of a slightly simpler form of what I'm going to show you today. Not that much simpler, just a little bit. And I put a twist on it because I thought it was a good idea. So this is going to help you in your grooves, right? For when you're playing your hi-hat and your snare, when you're supposed to hit them simultaneously, you do. They're together, and then we're going to take it to the kit, and we're going to talk about that as well, so that your hands are locked. Because if your hands are locked and your feet are locked with your hands, then the band can lock with you. Or let's take it step by step. My hands are locked, my feet are locked with my hands, the bass player locks with me, I lock with him, the guitar, the keys, horns can lock with us, and then the vocals go on top and they can do whatever they want. Mechanically, it's not really that hard, like the memorization of this, but the actual physicality of doing it, it is hard. So we're going to do this in I guess 4 sort of stages, and I want to show you how this develops. This is this stick. I like using these big fat. They're kind of like 5Bs, these yellow sticks, and I kind of like them. But this I've been using them for a long time, and this tip has really had it, but I just haven't bought new ones yet. So we'll put it in my right hand. All right, so as you know, when I've said this before, I'm left-handed. I'm going to do this with a left-hand lead. And should you work on this with both hands? Yes, you probably should. However, the majority of how this will end up manifesting itself on the drum set is with your lead hand leading. If you're right-handed, obviously your right hand is your lead hand. It is probably more beneficial to you to work on this with your right hand leading if you're right-handed, or your left hand leading if you're left-handed. So let's talk about this. We're going to do this 4 bars, 4 bars, 4 bars, 4 bars, and go back. 4 bars, 4 bars, 4 bars, 4 bars, and go back. And we're going to go round and round. Let's take it nice and slow without the metronome at first, and I'm going to show you why it's important to add the metronome. Again, this is an exercise. This is something you can do as you get better at it while you're watching Netflix, whatever, Star Trek reruns, whatever you want to watch, and get it done. So let's go on. So I'm starting very simple. Left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right, right. I'm making them triplets. If you're right-handed, you're going to go right, left, left, right, left, left, right, left, left, right, left, left, right. That's the rudiment. That's the sticking. Nothing more complicated than that. When we get to the set in the second half, it will get a little more complicated. So here we go. I'm going to do the first 4 bars, and I'm going to count these like triplets. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and notice too, I'm not really ghosting on this one, because really this is to develop that ability to hit 2 and 4 or whatever groove you're playing. Hit that snare and that hi-hat together. Hit that cymbal and the snare together. Your toms and your snare together when they need to be, whatever beat they fall on, right? So that's the first 4 bars. Just left, right, left, right for 4 bars. Second 4 bars is going to be playing swing with my left hand. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Right, with my right hand doing the same thing. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And if you're right-handed, this is harder for me to do. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. I don't want to go through all the way through that. So, if you were to put this on your slow motion on your video player, you would probably see there's small little discrepancies where they're not perfectly together. And look, here's the truth of the matter. You're a human being, and not 100% of the time it's not going to be perfectly together. But if it is close enough all the time that you or the general public or the band doesn't hear that there's a problem, doesn't notice it, and you can't notice it, maybe small tiny discrepancies to make adjustments for, then you're on the right track, right? So now we're going to take the third part. So we got the first part is left, right, left, right. Then we got the swing, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, right? Now we're going to put shuffle on everything, right? So now my left hand is going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So I'm adding to that. So now my hands are playing together all the time on that, you know, that third triplet all the time of the da of 1, the da of 2, the da of 3, the da of 4. So here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. All right, and I can hear little discrepancies, especially because the stick is all shungad, you know what I mean? It's all like messed up here. And then I hear them together at the same time. In fact, you know, just for the sake of it, because my left hand is stronger, I'm going to switch it. Let me do the right-handed version of that nice and slow. Again, I'm not as good at this with my right hand. 1. So here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Again, I'm just doing 2 bars of that. I really don't want to go all the way through it. You should get the point by my left hand version. So let's do the final version now. This is where I really start to differ from the other guy. The swing part differs and this differs. I'm going to keep this 1 and 2 and 3, and I'm going to transition to 1 and 2 and with my left hand, but I'm not going to stop to switch. It'll be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and then I'm going to be doing the first 2 triplets with my left hand and the last 2 triplets with my right hand. So watch. Let's take it from the last 2 bars of the shuffle part going into this other part. So here we go. 1 and I'm going to go nice and slow. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and and then we're back to the beginning. So the first 4 is this, second 4 is this, third 4 is this, the last 4 is this. And I don't know why, but that's the hardest one for me. That's the hardest one. Again, you would be leading this with your right hand, so at the end, you would make that transition. You know, you would be going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Right back to that beginning if you're right-handed. I pushed it up in tempo a little bit just so I could get through it faster. So, because I really want you to get the gist of this as a more than you seeing me do it with my right hand and my left hand. It's the same thing, either or, right? You should work on it both ways. It would be good for you. It would be healthy for you. I got to be honest with you. At 58 years old, I spend very little time working on it with my right hand leading. When I'm playing gigs, I'm playing with my left hand leading. And a great keyboard player, Julio Iglesias keyboard player, Victor Perez once said to me, don't work on a lot of things that you don't need to use all the time. It's kind of a waste practicing. And at the time he had seen me, I was working on swing, trying to play swing at like better than 350 or 380. And he said, why are you doing that? And I said, well, I'm trying to get really good at quick swing. He goes, when are you going to play swing at 380 beats a minute? And I said, I don't know. He said, well, maybe you'll get that call once in your life. Why bother with it? And Victor Perez, one of the greatest piano players I've ever worked with, thank you very much. That has really made me a better player, that idea. Okay, all right, so now, next part of this exercise. You should do this with a metronome because you really want your triplets and everything to line up. And let's just do this once through. I'm going to do it with my left hand leading, and I'm going to do it slowly with the metronome, right? Let's go slower than this, right? That's at 60, 59 actually, and that's fine. I got it right here so you can hear it, right? And let's try the whole thing. And you can do the traditional grip as well. As a matter of fact, when I'm practicing this on the kit, I pretty much solely do a traditional grip, okay? Again, for me, my right hand would be on my snare, my left hand would be on my cymbal. For you, it would be the reverse if you're right-handed. And I'm going to do this traditional grip just so you can see it. For you traditional grip players, I do play a lefty traditional. We've gone over that before. My left hand is matched, my right hand is traditional. So here we go. Watch. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and now 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 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 and 2 and 3 and 4 and And you can see, I still, I've been doing this for a little while now, a couple of weeks really, I still have the version, 1 second, let me turn this off, the version of this where I'm doing the first 2 triplets in my left and the second 2 on my right, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that is much harder than I think it should be in my head. I don't, and really I can say, what is the difference between this and this? very little, but and it's not that, like, obviously when I just did that now, starting from it, it wasn't that hard, but jumping into it and out of it, making those two hands hit together perfectly is not that easy, and you can hear small discrepancies in what I'm doing. It's very slight, but it's still there. There's a small discrepancy. So now, the next thing you do is you want to pick up the tempo, right? You want to make it a little faster, right? So let's take this up to 100 for now. Right? And then we'll take it faster than that. I'll put this back in here so you can hear the metronome really well. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can see that very first time jumping into the there was a little bit of a flam, just a tiny, not even a flam, but just tiny bit. And why? Maybe it's always going to be there. I don't know. Again, it's hardly noticeable, and if you're playing with the snare and the cymbal, it's going to be even less noticeable to the crowd, but it's still there. So what does that mean? That means I spend time working. I spend time working on that at slow tempos to get it right. Let's go a little faster now. Let's take this up to 120. All right, we're like at 122. So again, really you want to try to get this reasonably at about 150, 160, and I think the other day I was doing this at 160. But now doing this like this, right? And okay, let's backtrack just a little bit. Just a little bit. If you notice, I've got the metronome clicking on all the triplets. Again, we mentioned that before. Normally, I always recommend practicing with the metronome on just 2 and 4 or 4. In this case, you want everything to line up really perfectly, and you're really looking for errors in your subdivisions, errors in your ability to hit it exactly the same time, the flow. You're looking for those little errors, and this will help you to find those. This is not really a time exercise, but a hand exercise. Again, I'm calling this hand control. Not stick control, hand control. Let's go. Let's do this. All right. Let's see if we can get through it without any casualties. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, when I switch that last one, you can hear the little discrepancies. And I'm going to go ahead and be bold and put this right in there so you can see some of my little errors in it, right? And I'm going to do a little slow-mo cam with it. You can put that in there. This is the hardest, simplest thing you're ever going to do, or the simplest, hardest thing. It just is a very hard thing to do. Let's go for broke, and with just my hands doing it. And let's see how we do at 140. All right? I'm actually scared. I'm actually scared of this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. you know what? Truth be told, I think I get it better faster, or I just don't notice it because it's moving faster. You don't notice it. That's why it's important to go slow. Go slow. You know, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So if you're hearing the discrepancies here, and this actually, especially in swing, you'll use that a lot. You'll use that a lot. Even the other one that I was doing, I do it from time to time on the kit. Now, I very rarely do this, but probably why there's a problem with it. But it seems, you know, in your head, it seems a little bit backwards. So again, this is why you want to go slow. You want to go very slow, so everything is lining up. And you can see even the very first time I made that jump to the kind of the backward version, as I call it, there was a little discrepancy on the very first one. This is hard. This is hard to do. Do it yourself. Here's a little challenge. Do it yourself. Put your video of you doing this nice and fast. You know, blow me away. It's fine, man. You know, it's only going to help me and challenge me to work on it more. I think this is going to help for your precision, help for you to getting yourself locked in. So that's the pad exercise of this. That's what you can do while you're watching The Mandalorian. Whatever it is that you're watching, you sit there and you do this and you listen and you get the metronome going and you do it. There's another version we can do on the kit, and I'm going to show you that next. How you doing? I like the spin. I'm just going to keep it in, you know. Anyway, I'm adding this to the end of this video for a couple of reasons. The first is I gave the impression during the video that I was going to add the set versions of what I was doing to the end of this video. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to make it 2 parts because when I've already recorded some of the set stuff, filmed it, and it just makes this video too long. So I decided not to do that. But there was something else I noticed that I wanted to share with you about. As I began to watch this video over and over and over again, as you do when you're editing, and the slow-mo cam stuff that I was watching, you know, and so this exercise, if you watch the video, has 4 legs to it. When you get to that last leg and you're watching the slow-mo, even though at full speed it doesn't sound that bad, it sounds pretty good, when you're watching the slow-mo you hear all the little discrepancies, and I was going to pull that out of the video. I decided not to, because I want you to see the progression. I'm gonna record a modified version of that, which I came up with as I've been working in the beginning of the next video. And because the moment I saw all those discrepancies, you know, and you can see those 4 legs. The first leg sounds pretty good. The second leg sounds really good. The third leg all sound pretty good. They sound pretty good. There's in the slow-mo you can hear some minor discrepancies here and there, but then you notice it a lot more in the third, which is the hardest one. And that's where I'm doing the first 2 triplets with my left, the middle of the 3 triplets, right? The first 2's with my left, the middle 2's with my right. If you're right-handed, the first 2 would be with your right, the middle 2 would be with your left, and you can hear all those little discrepancies that you don't notice when it's, you know, barreling through at whatever that was, 122, 123 beats a minute, whatever that was. Anyway, I thought, wow, I got some work to do. So I just started working. So already, after a few days of working on it, it sounds better. So why not re-record the bit? I didn't want to. I wanted you to see the progression. I want you to see that. So, and I mentioned this in the video, that particular first two and middle two is something that I don't do very often. So it was a kind of blind spot for me. But I want you to see, as when you put just a little effort and a little time into this stuff, man, it just gets better, and it gets better quicker. You know, it gets better quicker, and I want you to see the progression to the next video. Like I said, at full speed, it's not really that bad, and I could have let it go. But here's the thing I like, or better word, I love about the music business. Whether you're making a living at it or not, right, it's a mountain you can never climb. It is a staircase you can never get to the top of, right? It doesn't matter whether you're Steve Gadd, Vinnie Colaiuta, Sandy Gennaro, or me, Glenn Giordano. There's always room to improve. You can improve your time. You can get better at that exercise. And how often am I really even going to use that? Probably not a ton. I haven't used it that much in my lifetime. You know, I use the second and the third leg of that exercise all the time. I hardly ever use that fourth leg of the exercise. You know, and even all the time is an exaggeration. I use that, you know, probably in some swing fills and stuff. Especially on the cruise ships, I use it a lot more. Now, not so much. But I do use it. I use it in a lot of my shuffle grooves. So here's the thing. It can always be better. So by working on that fourth leg, making that the best it could be, that's going to translate to making the other two legs, which I already do pretty proficiently, even better. And I want you to see in the next one, I'm going to do the first couple of minutes with the pad, and I'll show you the modification using some of those same exercises, and you can see the improvement. And I'll do slow-mo cam again, and then I'll show you the set stuff with slow-mo cam, so you can see. You know, it is really a good thing to examine your playing constantly from a realistic point of view, so you can always get better. Like I said, Steve Gadd, Vinnie Colaiuta, they're, to me, they're the greatest, some of the greatest of all time. They can be better. They can be better, and they know what they need to work on. Certainly, not as much as I do, but they know what they need to work on. There's always improvement, and that's the beauty of this. And I'm not a big praying guy, and I'm going to leave you with this as I close this video out. But if I were to pray for anything, I pray that on my last day on earth, that I'm still working to be the best drummer I can be. The best I can be. Still looking for holes in my playing that I can improve. Still, on my very last day of life on earth. And that will translate, that attitude, my friends, will translate to everything you do. Being a human being, being a good person, a good husband, a good boyfriend, or whatever, a good girlfriend if you're a girl playing drums. I don't want to be that way, or I only say one gender. You know, whatever you're doing, always improving. It's the mountain you cannot climb. We never arrive, and that's the good news. Anyway, I will see you on the next one. Put your own video in the comments, blow me away. All right? See you soon.